window. That's right, and then open the gently, and then open the round vent probably just to get some air in. You just push on the front of it. That's right. Yep.
Out like that?
Yep, that's good.
Oh, that's out. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Make sure the controls all do what they're supposed to do.
Little ring.
No noise.
Canopy closed and locked. Handbrake closed and locked.
Yep.
Handbrake cleared. Pilot ready.
So when we fly through air that's going up, then we'll climb at more than 4 knots. So right now we're doing about 4.
Yeah.
Everything looks so neat and tidy up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, he's flying straight and level. Now when I release the rope, he's going to turn left and we're going to turn right. Thank you, Arnie. It gets kind of quiet and smooth.
Yep.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go, I don't know if you noticed, but we flew through quite a patch of lift there.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is
Bunyan, X-ray, Quebec Charlie, left downwind, 3-3 Bunyan.
try and find that bit of lift again. So come onto the controls with me. I'll do the flying, but you're just following me on the controls.
Yep.
Okay. Come on. operating.
Wow, that's cool.
What are you doing up there?
Great, this is amazing. We're over we're higher than where we got disconnected.
Just about exactly there, yep.
Yeah,
How it works. This is much cheaper. See that cloud coming over the edge of the escarpment there? Just to your right, about 9 o'clock there?
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Oh, to the right. It's right. No.
Hopefully it'll show up on your GoPro footage. Some days are a lot of work. Other days you just go up at 10 knots to 10,000 feet.
Wow.
Today's not one of those days. But it's okay.
Okay.
Some days you get off a tow and you end up back on the ground before the tow plane. Done that? We're 500 feet above where we started.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. Okay, so we should get you flying the airplane.
So it's just feel
Well, it's a
and
combination.
the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Combination of feel and that beeping noise.
Yeah.
So the beeping noise is there, so I don't have to look at an instrument.
Okay.
and hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
But it doesn't really help me in the short term. So I can feel it. I feel the airplane, like literally,
Yeah.
start to surge upwards. All right.
Yeah.
And then a second or two later, you'll get the beeping. So the beeping is it's better for steady state than it is for initiating the thermal. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a combination of the two. But what I'm trying to do is, the thermals go up like, they're columns of air, and I'm trying to find the center of it.
Yeah.
So I can circle around the center.
Yeah.
And of course, because you can't see air, that's sometimes not really easy to do.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get lift all the way around the circle. And today the thermals are very broken. It's not a nice kind of elevator of nice, round column of air. Some days it is, but today it's not. It's much more broken.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a little bit of height we can play with and let you fly the airplane. Okay. So we'll start off with a hopefully fairly coordinated turn. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how that's done.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm going to let you do it. But first I'm going to go through a couple of very simple things. Okay, so it depends on the controls with me. If I move the stick to the left, that rolls the aircraft to the left.
Yep.
If I move the stick to the right, that rolls the aircraft to the right. Okay, if I pull the stick back, nose comes up. What else happens? It starts to slow down.
Yep. Yep. 40 knots.
Ease up on the stick. Okay, nose
Yep.
goes down, speed comes up. So you've got full 3-axis control. Okay.
Yep.
Now the thing that complicates that is that if I just roll in a whole bunch of aileron, watch what happens to the nose. It goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that's why you've got rudder pedals. So when you start a turn, okay, you always use rudder. And the rudder is just to stop the nose from going the wrong direction. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate a turn here for you now that you know roughly how to fly an airplane. Okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to make a 360-degree turn to the left. Okay? So what I'm going to do is look out to the right, cast my eyes around the horizon, look out to the left. There's no one there that in the airspace I'm going to turn into. Okay? Then I bring my eyes back to the horizon. Okay? Then I feed in some aileron, left stick and left rudder. And then once the aircraft is banked over to about 30 degrees, I neutralize the controls, okay? And then I just keep the nose coming around on the horizon by moving the stick forward and backwards. There's no more left and right to it. It's neutralized.
Yeah.
See how it almost comes around on its own, okay?
Yeah.
So you're just basically sitting here waiting for the airplane to do what the airplane does, which just goes around in a circle if it's left alone, okay? So then to come out of the turn, it's just the opposite. All right. You comfortable with that?
I think so.
Okay. We'll just go a little bit further to the north, and then we'll let you try one. Came all that distance without losing any altitude. That's good. Okay, you ready to try a turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a 360-degree turn to the left. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll talk you through it, but you're going to be doing the turn. Your aircraft.
Okay.
Okay. So we look out to the right.
Yeah.
Eyes around on the horizon.
Yeah.
Do a scan. Okay. Look left, which is where we're going. Yep. And then eyes back to the horizon. Okay. And then feed in some rudder and some aileron. So left stick, left rudder. Get some in there. That's right. And don't let the nose drop too much. That's good.
Right.
Neutralize the stick. Just gentle back pressure on the stick. And just keep the nose coming around on the horizon. That's right. Good. A little bit more back pressure. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. There you go. A little more. There you go. Now when you want to come out of the turn, you're going to do just the opposite. It's going to be right rudder, right aileron. You ready? Okay, go ahead. That's right. Good. Okay. Okay, so we'll fly straight and level for a second. Okay, so we'll try a couple of simple exercises here. Just put a very gentle pressure on the stick forward. Your nose go down, watch the speed go up. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now just release the pressure. Nose comes up, all right? Okay, pretty simple. Good. Okay, so let's do a 360-degree turn around to the right. Okay, so we look left, come around on the horizon, look above us if we can. Okay, and then eyes back to the horizon when we're finished our scan, and start the turn. That's right, a little more rudder, a little more rudder. That's right. Now bring the nose up just a bit. Up.
That's right.
That's right.
There you go.
So keep it coming around.
That's right. Yeah.
Relax a bit more back pressure, just a little bit. Okay, there you go. Feel it coming around? It's kind of flying itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm not doing much with the pedals.
That's right. Okay, so just the opposite now, coming out of the turn. There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Good. Okay, my aircraft. Okay, so I'll show you a sort of textbook tight turn instead of a gentle one.
Okay.
All right, my aircraft.
Yep.
Okay, so we're doing 60 knots. Clear left. Tighter turn. How was that?
That was amazing.
That was good
How
enough.
much did we drop then?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 100 feet. Not much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many more G's, right?
Yeah, but
Well, more than...
that was about, maybe about a G and a half.
Okay.
Wasn't anything particularly, the loop in this thing is 2 Gs, I think, so that was nowhere near.
Okay.
Okay, so get back over this direction. Clear left. Okay, you want to try thermaling?
It seems like there's one here, yeah?
Yeah, we're in one.
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep us going in this turn
Yep.
and see how you go. Your aircraft. Remember, the airplane kind of does the work on its own. Oh, you got to keep it coming around though.
Yeah.
Keep that nose coming around on the horizon. Not too steep.
Okay.
If you fly these things too steep, they get pretty inefficient. So just get that nose around on the horizon. That's right. That's good. So just keep doing what you're doing and we'll go up. That's right, not quite so steep. That's right. Good. Relax a little bit.
Okay.
See how the thermal's better over on this side than it is on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we come around and we're headed west again, what we'll do is we'll straighten the airplane out a little bit and go a little bit more to the west. Mind you, having said that, it's not horribly bad over here, but that's all right. Now, when you're facing west, which is 90 degrees to our left,
Okay.
then we'll just straighten the airplane out for about 3 seconds, right there. There you go, like that. Okay? And then back into it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Nothing happens quickly with these things. Okay, so let's get our nose back a little bit higher than it is now. And we'll get the speed back closer to 50 knots. And we'll climb a lot better, okay? That's good. So just keep it coming around on that. Yeah. Keep it coming. You gotta look outside the airplane now, man.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you're doing well. Bring off a little bit of bank. Flatten it out just a little bit. That's right. But keep it coming around. See, when you let your nose drop like that, what happens is it speeds up, right? That's why you got to keep it coming around on a nice, even sort of path around on the horizon. But you're doing pretty well. about 400 feet a minute there.
Oh,
Relax. Remember, the airplane's doing most of the work here.
yeah.
Well, now we're in sync. Straighten up on that. Okay, now get back into it. There you go. Now you'll be closer to the center of the thermal. Hopefully. That's good. See? So now you're back up to where we got off the tow rope.
Yeah, it's so cool.
How good is that, huh?
Amazing.
Keep the nose coming around on the horizon. It's a bit like standing on a football or something.
Yeah.
A little bit. Here, my aircraft for a second. See, if you just leave it alone, there's very little happening here. Airplane's doing it all on its own. Little dab of rudder now and then just to keep the nose coming around. Yeah, look at that, huh? It's almost like they designed it to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Amazing.
So that's directly below us is called Hanger Hill, for reasons which probably should seem obvious. Alright.
I feel like
We're about 500 feet above where we started, so let's do some more turns.
oh my goodness.
How you doing?
I'm doing alright. I feel like my stomach is the only thing failing me.
Alright, let me know if you're not feeling well. We can get down in a hurry.
That might be worse.
What's that?
That might be worse.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
pretty quick. There's a, if you're not feeling well, there's a bag
I
on the
saw
right
it. I saw it.
Take a bit of a nice, easy tour around the countryside. How about that?
That sounds great.
Straight ahead of us there, it's called the Rose Valley. Very nice drive up that way if you ever find yourself up this way.
Yeah.
You see all of the where the old Cooma airport used to be, all the concrete that they've got laying on the old runways and aprons there. That's going over to the Snowy 2 project.
Okay. Yeah.
See all that white stuff? It's just, you know, put the nose on it there, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a pretty constant flow of vehicles with big chunks of that on them, you know, across on the Snowy Mountains Highway there. It just goes west of town and heads on that way. hobby farms up here. Tell the real farms from the hobby farms by how much crap is sitting around the outside of them. The real farmers, it always seems to accumulate. They've been there for any length of time. The hobby farms are much tidier, usually have tennis courts and a swimming pool. What we'll do is just fly in, and so that what happens from this point is we fly down here, so we're just past the other end of the far end of that runway we took off on. Yeah. Okay. And at that point we'll be about 1,000 feet above the ground. Okay. Yeah. And then we'll start our circuit. And the circuit basically consists of a downwind leg, so coming back almost pretty much the opposite direction we're going now, parallel with the runway. Okay? Yeah. And then there's a base leg, so we make a left-hand turn in this case, and we go perpendicular to the runway we're going to land on. And all this time we're watching out for what's going on the runway, on the airfield in general. Okay? And we're watching the angles. The angles are important because if the angle back to where you're going to land starts to get shallow, that means you're maybe not going to have enough height to get there. So what you need to do is to adjust your circuit, because you don't have an engine. Yeah. So you've got to manage all the energy properly. Okay. So that's what we'll do, and then once we're about perpendicular or parallel to the runway, we'll start onto final. And when we turn onto final, what happens is we've established what's called an overshoot. So we know we can make the runway from where we are. No issues in that respect. And we'll pull out the air brakes. And what the idea of the air brakes is just to manage your rate of descent so that you get down to the runway at the point that you're aiming for. So just after we turn on the final, this blue handle up here, I'll pull it and pull out the air brakes, and that'll induce a whole bunch of drag. They're the big things that come out of the wings. Yep. And it'll make a bunch of noise, and then we'll come down for a landing. So we're about 200 feet above circuit height here. Yeah. So, we'll do our downwind. So we do what's called a bus check. So the flaps would normally be deployed at this point. We don't have them, so we don't have to worry about it. The speed is maybe 60 knots. We'll trim for that. Undercarriage is down and welded. This is where you always get the lift. doing here is I'm looking back at the runway that we're going to land on, and I'm just making sure that that angle doesn't start to diminish too much. I'm always keeping an eye on that. You can always pull out your air brakes and get, you can always get rid of height. You can't get it back. So you play the game fairly conservatively. Or at least I do. A little closer look at some of the hobby farms. Up with the runway, establish an overshoot, and get out some air brakes. Good. How was that?
Amazing. That was really cool.
And you got it all on video.
Yep. I hope so.
Yeah, good point. Okay, you know how to get out of that? You just give that a twist and out you go.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that's really disappointing.
What's that?
That my stomach can't take it.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, goodness.
A few deep breaths, you'll be fine. So what I'm going to get you to do is come over and, if you're feeling well in it,
Yeah, no, I'm good. Pick up the nose a bit.
lift the nose up so that the front wheel's off, but the tail wheel hasn't hit the ground, so just a little bit. And then we'll rotate it around, hook it on, and we'll be good to go.